Gun violence hits another college campus. Chaos, confusion, and grief at Michigan State University. Good evening, I'm Jaya. We begin with that developing story out of East Lansing. Police say the gunman opened fire at Michigan State University, killing 3 students and wounding 5 others. The shooting unfolded last night in 2 locations, an academic building and the student union. According to police, the suspect, 43-year-old Dwayne McRae, is dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He had no connection to the university. Officers found a note on his body threatening 2 New Jersey schools, but his motivation at MSU is unclear.
Right when that first gunshot went off, I booked it to the far corner of the class. I was sitting right next to the door where he came in, literally one of the first 2 seats he came in. And I thank God my fight or flight response kicked in because I booked it to the far side of the class and ducked down, and he came in and shot 3 to 4 times in our classroom.
I was shaking in the bathroom, and it was just terrible. It's just preparing myself for the worst thing ever.
Students and community members sheltered in place for hours on the East Lansing campus. It is home to 50,000 students. The shooting at Michigan State marks the 2nd school shooting this year and continues a wave of gun violence in the U.S. There have been more mass shootings than days so far this year, 65 in total. That includes gunfire in Monterey Park, California, the deadliest attack since the Uvalde massacre in May of 2022. These numbers are from Gun Violence Archive, a nonprofit group that tracks gun-related violence. It defines mass shooting as a shooting that injures or kills more than 4 people. Today marks the 5-year anniversary of the mass shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Students at a Florida elementary school formed a giant heart and the number 17 to honor the 17 people who lost their lives on this day in 2018. They also held a moment of silence at 10:17 before releasing students early for a day of service. Here at Purdue University, a professor arrested last week in Lafayette is now barred from campus. 65-year-old Sergei Makaret is accused of possessing and dealing meth and propositioning women. According to police, his arrest comes after a lengthy investigation. Purdue spokesperson Tim Doty says the university is working to meet the needs of undergraduate and graduate students in Makaret's lectures and labs. Makaret is a professor in the School of Aeronautics and Astronautics. Police are investigating vandalism at Hillel Purdue, the center of Jewish campus life. According to investigators, someone threw a beer bottle at the building's window, shattering one of the glass panes. Purdue police have no leads and haven't established anti-Semitism as a motive. However, in a statement, Hillel says, "The vandalism of our building is unprecedented and has left our community concerned and with many questions. For our students, Purdue Hillel is a safe, welcoming, and affirming space. It should remain that way always. It is heartbreaking that beyond our windows, our sense of calm has been broken." The Board of Trustees has given the green light to President Mung Chiang's proposal for a 12th consecutive tuition freeze. This keeps tuition fees unchanged for students until the 2024-2025 academic year. Reporter Rachel Tai has reaction.
Purdue University Board of Trustees decided to continue freezing tuition on February 3rd. This is endorsed by President Mung Chiang's request for the 12th consecutive tuition freeze. We are at the Stewart Center, and let's see how students react to this.
I'm really grateful for it. I'm an out-of-state student, and so I know it helps a lot, especially not with having to deal with the increase in price each year. So I really it affects me a lot, and I appreciate it.
It helps people plan a budget, and they don't have to go out of their way to try and adapt to either higher or lower.
Tuition being frozen is part of the reason that I chose to come to this school out of all the other out-of-state schools, so I am grateful that Purdue has continued to do that.
It's good for middle-class students, especially to give them the opportunity to continue to pursue their education.
Students are happy and grateful to this decision. This is actually the first time of tuition freeze since President Chiang took office. Report from Fast Track News. This is Rachel Tai.
Part of Stewart Center has a new name. Clipped Student Success Crossroads will serve as a new space for student services and organizations to meet. The university held a dedication ceremony to thank donors who contributed to the renovations. Purdue received more than $25,000 for the project. The center will now house the Department of Admissions, Financial Aid, and the Purdue ID Card Office. It's Valentine's Day on campus, and I don't know about you, but I think we're all feeling the love. As students, staff, and faculty celebrate this day of affection, here are a few quick facts. Valentine's Day is derived from the feast for the patron saint, Saint Valentine. Historians tell us he married couples in secret to prevent men from going to the war. In the 1400s, the day became associated with romance. People started writing letters and poems declaring their love and calling them Valentines. Today, some 180 million cards are exchanged each year, and florists ready nearly 2 million roses for the day. The average person is expected to spend more than $100 showering their loved ones with gifts. It is personally one of my favorite holidays, especially since my little sister was born on Valentine's Day. Up next, that morning omelet could cost you. What's driving the skyrocketing price of eggs? Plus, Purdue women's basketball selling out and thundering ahead. Scores and highlights after the break.